whispers here? Well, it's a constant, steady thing. It moves across the vast, cold expanse of Lake Michigan. It climbs the hills of sand. These aren't just hills. They are mountains. Living, breathing mountains of sand that shift and sigh with every gust. The light on the water changes from moment to moment. 1 minute, it's a brilliant, blinding silver. The next, it's a deep, brooding gray. The trees that cling to the dunes are twisted, their branches reaching like gnarled fingers. This is Indiana Dunes National Park. It's a place of stark, undeniable beauty, but it's also a place with a long memory. The land here feels ancient. It holds stories, bright and sun-drenched, others as dark and cold as the lake in winter. This is a landscape of contrasts. A beach that could be tropical, a forest that feels like another world. But when the sun sets, the park changes. Shadows lengthen. To understand this place, you have to go back, way back, before the people, before the stories, before the trees. Think ice. Immense, continent-spanning sheets of ice, miles thick. For thousands of years, this land was buried under the crushing weight of the Wisconsin glaciation. This wasn't a gentle process. The ice acted like a colossal bulldozer, scraping, grinding, reshaping the very bedrock of North America. It carved out the massive basin that would one day hold the Great Lakes. As the climate warmed, the great ice sheets began to retreat. As the ice pulled back, it left behind an alien landscape. It dropped unimaginable amounts of sand, gravel, clay it had carried for centuries. Meltwater formed vast, temporary lakes, depositing layer upon layer of sand along their edges. The Indiana Dunes are a direct result of this epic geological drama. The wind took over where the ice left off. Grain by grain, century after century. They migrate, they grow, they change shape. It is a place built by forces we can barely imagine, and it is still in motion. Long before the first European maps were drawn, this land was home. For thousands of years, Native American peoples lived in and around the dunes. Potawatomi, Miami, others. It was not a wilderness to them. It was a pantry. It was a pharmacy. It was a sacred place. They had names for the dunes, the rivers, the coves. Their lives were woven into the rhythm of the seasons here. The most significant was the Great Sauk Trail, an ancient highway linking the Mississippi to the Detroit River. A vital hub for the people who called it home. Their stories and beliefs were tied to the landscape, spirits of water, forest, and sky. The arrival of French fur traders in the 17th century marked a change. Jacques Marquette, Louis Joliet, mapping the coastline, establishing contact. And then came settlers, missionaries, soldiers. The Bailey homestead stands as a monument. Joseph Bailly, a French-Canadian fur trader, settled here in 1822. A stop between Detroit and Chicago, a crossroads of cultures. This period was one of transition and often of conflict. Treaties were signed, lands were ceded, the original inhabitants were pushed aside. The fabric of the land began to change, but the memory of those first people lingers. In names, in artifacts, the sand refuses to keep buried. Even if most visitors today do not, the land remembers them. The 19th and 20th centuries brought a new kind of force to the dunes, not ice or wind, it was industry. The sand itself, pure silica, was perfect for making glass. Huge operations began, scarring the landscape. Entire dunes were leveled, shipped away. The iconic Hoosier Slide, completely removed by 1900, its sand filling Chicago. Railroads cut the region. Steel mills rose, their smokestacks belching fire and smoke. Company towns grew from the sand. Beauty beside industry. The contrast was jarring. The boom brought people, jobs, and a profound sense of loss. Dark, starry nights blotted by mill glow. The scars remain. Out of it, folklore, strange lights, constant noise, eerie tales, sublime nature beside raw, gritty industry, the central tension of the dunes. As industry chewed the landscape, resistance formed. Scientists, artists, citizens sounded the alarm. Henry Cowles's research brought national attention and a scientific case for preservation. They built public support for a park. In 1916, a proposal, then war, shifted priorities. Activists pivoted. The state park was established in 1925. The fight continued for decades. In 1966, the National Lake Shore, in 2019, redesignated a national park. A century of effort. A patchwork preserved between towns and mills. A victory wrested from time. No story is more woven into the fabric of this place than that of Diana of the Dunes. Her real name was Alice Gray, a brilliant, educated woman who turned her back on society in 1915. She lived free, off the land, fishing, scavenging, swimming in the lake. A striking, fiercely independent figure, made into myth and hounded by fame. She met Paul Wilson. They became companions, living ruggedly by the shore. Then fire, then a body found, though never charged, suspicion forced them away. Alice Gray died in 1925 at 43. Her story, however, did not. People claim to see her still, a solitary woman walking at dusk, vanishing when approached. A spectral swimmer in the cold waters of Lake Michigan. Her spirit, they say, is tied to these dunes, seeking the peace denied her in life. The lake is the heart of this place. It gives, it takes, beauty and tragedy in equal measure. Countless ships lost, many lives taken. The lady of the lake, her child gone without a trace. She walked the shoreline in black for the rest of her life. After death, her spirit continues searching, seen in fog, at twilight. Some swear they hear her call on the wind, a grief as old as the dunes. The railroads brought progress and tragedy. One stormy night, a fatal mistake put a freight and a passenger train on the same track. The crash was heard for miles. Many lives were lost. They say the spot was marked by the trauma. On foggy nights, a whistle sounds where no train runs. A bright headlight, frantic bell, screaming brakes, and then nothing. A psychic loop, some say, not a thinking ghost but pain replayed. Stand there at night, wind in the trees, the dark pressing in, and imagine the terror. The phantom train reminds us, these rails carried iron and perhaps memory. Mount Baldy is the star attraction, but it's alive and it moves. It swallows what can't move, trees, trails, anything in its path. In 2013, a 6-year-old vanished into a hidden void. After hours of digging, they found him alive. Ground-penetrating radar showed a honeycomb of hollows. The dune is not as solid as it looks. Stories grew, whispers on the wind, the feeling of eyes on your back. Angry dune, restless trees, or wind through hidden chambers. Whatever the cause, respect this place. Heed the signs. The landscape is unpredictable. At night, the dunes transform. This is not a theme park. It is living, breathing, and sometimes dangerous.